Welcome to the Divine Quotient podcast. Around here, we go way beyond small talk. We're talking soul to soul with truth, purpose, and what it means to live a spirit-led life. I'm Tilde, the creator of the Divine Quotient. Get ready for real stories, deep laughs, and those aha moments that light you up from the inside out. Welcome, everybody. I'm Tilde, the host of the Divine Quotient podcast. In a world that seems to be saturated with chaos and crisis, I wanted to create some good news and show how there are still many good people doing great things and actually being the change that we want to see in the world. My guest today is Debbie Saviano. She's worn many hats over the years: educator, business owner, speaker, LinkedIn strategist, all the while being a lifelong learner. She understands what it feels like to juggle the JOB, family, personal goals, and the desire to move to the next level. Today, she assists others in maximizing LinkedIn, finding clarity and confidence in their professional stories and experiences while being viewed as an expert in the industry. Welcome, Debbie. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Tilde, for having me. It's such a pleasure. A great way to start the week for me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, me too. That's why I picked Mondays for the podcast. It's just like, you know what? Everybody needs a little boost, and hopefully this gives them a little bit of inspiration and some tidbits of wisdom they can take with them throughout the week. So tell us a little bit about your story and how you ended up being an expert on LinkedIn.
Well, first of all, I'll say I'm not an expert. I'll say I'm an advocate and a strategist because I think we're always striving to be the expert, right? I'm still working on that. But it kind of goes, we all start from our foundation of childhood. And I moved like 30 times growing up because my daddy worked oil fields. And so I lived in probably 14, 15 states growing up, born in Texas, but lived everywhere. And so moved all the time, was always the new kid on the block. And so from an early age, I knew I wanted to go into education. And I think it's because I knew what it was like to be the new kid. And so went to college to be a teacher because in Texas, you have to teach 4 years before you can become a principal. And I wanted to be a principal. And so I was a principal, loved it, K-12 in Plano ISD. And then when I retired, I joke, you can retire early. You can't now so much, but you could then. And I spent 2.5 years learning social media because this was 12 years ago. And not knowing why, but what you can appreciate with what you do, God had a plan. And so spent those 2.5 years. And I tell this story all the time. A guy messaged me on LinkedIn and said, can you do for me what you've done for you? Because the way I was doing it was not the norm at the time. It was very sterile, very black and white, very, very sterile. And so I was not doing it that way because I was using my education background on how I was doing LinkedIn. And that was where it started. And I speak around the world. I mean, I've spoken like in 8 countries on LinkedIn, and I love LinkedIn because it's a social platform, but it's a business platform. And that's why I do what I do.
So what are some common mistakes that people do on LinkedIn? Because there's so many social media platforms out there. What should we really do differently on LinkedIn than I would do on, let's say, TikTok or Facebook or Instagram?
That's and forgive me because I have really bad allergies today. I think that's one of the biggest things sometimes that people forget about. Each platform is different. Each platform is speaking to a different type of person. LinkedIn's professional. It's the only one that's truly professional. Now we try to do other sales and business and stuff on the others, but psychologically, they're not business platforms. That's not how they were designed. That's not how they were created. Facebook is totally social. You can do the business, but it's social first. LinkedIn is business first. The biggest challenge I think people have with LinkedIn is that people will say to me, well, I don't really use LinkedIn. If you go Google someone's name, their social platforms, and this has been going on for about 3 years now, that's what's going to show up in the Google, the feed. So I tell people, you might not use it, but that's the first place they're going to go vet you. And if you're not there, or if you're there and it's a really weak profile, that's a first impression. That's not a good business impression. And so I think either not using it, and I hardly ever meet anyone now that's not on it, but have they maximized it? And oftentimes they have not because they don't think they need it, or they just haven't done it, or they're just busy doing the JOB. I mean, I say that all the time. But if you maximize LinkedIn it because they give you space to do everything you need to tell people about why you, because that's why people are there. They want to know what you can do for them, what solution you can solve for them, what problem you can solve. That's why they're there. So if you use the space to tell people that, you're ahead of the game. So I would say that's the biggest challenge I see are people not doing with LinkedIn.
And how consistent do you have to be? Because like on TikTok, the algorithm requires you to post at least once a day in order to get some traction. What is it for LinkedIn? And is it changing? What's changing now that you see with LinkedIn?
Excellent question. I definitely think LinkedIn has changed, especially probably in the last month. But the one thing we always have to remember, that's rented real estate for us. All those platforms are. We don't own them, and they have one goal in mind, and that's to make money. And so when they change the algorithms and they make adjustments, they're always looking for a way to make more money. So like right now, our feeds are totally different than what they were a month ago and what's showing up there. Okay. Because they want you to buy the ads. Every platform wants you to buy ads and spend money, right? So what I tell people with the consistency aspect, you can post once a week or you can post every day, but be consistent. Like I do a Tuesday tip every Tuesday. And I've been doing that for a couple of years. So people know on Tuesday that's going to show up. And I might post 5 days a week as well, but they'll know I'm always going to have the Tuesday tip. So be consistent with what you're going to do. And the other thing that I tell people, you is we can't change the algorithms and we can't even attempt to match them because they changed all the time. What I say is know why you're there, know what your purpose and intent is, and stay consistent with it. So to me, it's about building relationships. I think everything that we do should be about building relationships because we've heard it 1,000 times. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust, but you have to show up for them to know who you are and to trust you. So work toward relationships, give 80, 20, the old Pareto principle, give 80%, take 20. And what I mean by take is that's where you might be talking about what your services are, your products, but give the other 80%. So don't just push, push, push. You want pull marketing. You want people to come to you. My anchor, LinkedIn. So if they see me engaging, they see me commenting or whatever, my goal is to get them to click back on my profile because that's where they can say what I do. They know as soon as they hit my profile, they see my headline, they know I don't sell real estate. And so if they need a real estate agent, I didn't waste their time. So having your profile on your headline, I know I'm kind of skipping here, but have there what you do because every time you comment, your picture, your name, and the first part of your headline shows up in that comment. That is gold beyond gold. You want people to see in that headline what you do and how you can help them because that's
I
what
love that advice. Now you're making me think about my own headline. Does it tell people?
you get 220 characters in that headline. In
Yeah.
the first line, all but about the last word, it shows up in every comment, and that is gold. I get over 70% of my clients from them seeing me talk and out on LinkedIn and engaging. They see that, and a lot of times they weren't even connected to me. They just saw me comment somewhere. It's gold. If you hear
Well,
one
and I
thing,
love that you brought that up, about commenting and engaging on other people's posts that you follow, because I've made some really wonderful connections that way in just DMs, and reaching out and somebody saying, hey, I'd love to connect. Thanks for
yes,
commenting, things like that. And so, one of them actually ended up being a guest here.
see,
Um, and a wonderful connection. So, what about it brought up something, another thing I wanted to ask you? Oh, about groups. Like for me on LinkedIn, I'm part of a lot of different groups, but the one that I really like posting in and I enjoy it, so I do it more consistently is the digital workers,
mhm.
the nomad workers, because I've been doing that now for over 10 years or almost 7 years now.
Yeah,
So I have experience I can share, and I want people to engage. And so I've gotten a lot of new followers that way. So what do you suggest for people, that are parts of groups? Again, it's probably that 80/20. I don't even sell anything or offer anything on those groups
right.
because you can't, but it's all giving value. Um, and just offering some fun sometimes too.
Well, I think that's the key, is that if your LinkedIn profile is solid and you have on there what you do and how you can help someone with products or services or even being hired, if your profile is robust with all that information, to your point, you just want to share value and share content and information and have fun. Because again, your goal is to get them to click on your profile. That's where they can see how you can help them. So I don't know if I ever say on a post like that. I mean, I'm like you. I mean, I'm giving value. I'm sharing information. I'm giving tips that I think might help other people. But with the groups, I think to your point, you find groups that you have common interest in, and you can help one another, and that can vary. What's become really popular, and again, another reason I love LinkedIn is because they adjust. All platforms are organic. They will adjust based on us, the users. But LinkedIn knows the business world, if you will. What's so hot right now are newsletters, and they are so huge because you have a newsletter. Well, LinkedIn will send it email to all the people the subscribers. They over help you advertise that newsletter. So newsletters are again gold right now, because you can share information, you can show value, you can show your expertise and your skills, and LinkedIn helps you promote that. So but find where it is that you can find people who you can bring value to, and they can bring value to you. And there's so many options out there, and you can just use a search bar and search for whatever it is you're looking to find.
So talk a little bit more about this newsletter, because that's new to me. And because I write a blog once a week for my website, and then I'll promote it, here on LinkedIn. And if people want to read the whole thing, they can go read the whole thing. Would it be wiser to convert that blog into a newsletter?
I would definitely recommend a newsletter for sure. Yeah. And I started mine, gosh, I guess it's been 2 years ago now. And I have maybe 2,000 subscribers, not a huge number, but I use it to more as a foundation to be able to test things out, what people are wanting and what they're needing. But again, I highly recommend the newsletters. Highly recommend, because again, it shows up in your email, it shows up in your LinkedIn notifications. There's so many ways that you can get people who might not have known about you. Plus, as we talked about earlier, when someone comments on it, they may not be a first connection to you. I mean, to someone else, but someone else sees you because they're connected to them. So I mean, in my email feed right now, my inbox, I bet 60% of them are email notifications because of all the newsletters I subscribe to. I mean,
Wow.
it's LinkedIn. But there again, I choose ones that I think either I'm going to, obviously, first, they're going to bring value to me, but then also that I can bring value back. So I'd highly recommend it. You do have to you have to click the creator button on LinkedIn to have access to that. Like, you get the newsletter capability, and you also get LinkedIn Live capabilities,
Hmm.
like you're doing here. I use StreamYard for mine, but Restream's another one you could use. They give you 3 options. So yeah, I definitely would recommend the newsletter.
Awesome. Thank you. And where do you see LinkedIn going? Well, like with video, because I know when they first started with allowing us to go live, it was a little wonky. Now they've gotten a lot, a
Yeah,
lot better.
yes, yes.
And
Well,
so, how would we leverage video now on LinkedIn?
I think the reason people want video, and I think, it started with TikTok and Instagram, and people want to see people. They want to have interaction with your face and your eyes and your hand. Like me, I can't talk without my hands, but people want to see you. And so I don't think you can overuse video. I really don't. And you can do so many things with it. I use CapCut for mine, but again, there's so many different platforms you can use if you want to do other things with video, or if you just want to use the LinkedIn app and do the video straight from there, at the bottom, like you can now. But I highly recommend video as well. Matter of fact, I've got a huge list of videos I'm getting ready to shoot, and I try to do them like in 1 or 2 days, and then I can put them out there. But then sometimes too, I just go live on it and just do it right there. So I think
Hmm.
women, especially, we worry. I think we're getting better, but I think women worry too much sometimes about the lighting and about everything being perfect. Well, there's no such thing as perfect. I did a video probably, I don't know, 6, 8 weeks ago about makeup, and I had no makeup on. And I said, 3 years ago, we never would have thought of that. And there are days now I do videos without makeup. Most of the time I have makeup, but not always. But it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be you. People want to see you. They want to see who you are, and how you do. So videos are huge. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's really big on platforms like TikTok. They want to
Absolutely.
see the most popular people are the most authentic.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter if you're just laying in bed, if they're laying in bed sometimes, or just out for a walk in their workout clothes. I mean, it's just so random. Like, people are craving relatable, I think.
Absolutely.
Authenticity that is relatable. And not a lot of people allow themselves to be seen. And I think, again, it goes back, for me at least, to this divine quotient and living from a spirit, mind, body alignment to where when spirit is leading, I'm not afraid to allow myself to be seen. Like,
Amen.
I just am.
Amen.
And there's a lot of people that are going around unconsciously living in fear and being afraid of saying what it is that they really mean, and showing up authentically.
That is so true. I just was watching something with a client this morning, and that it was the whole point. Be you. God just made one of me, and He just made one of you. Whatever it is, just be you, and don't be so fearful about stepping out there, because the keyboard warriors. Yeah, there could be someone who's not going to be nice, but 99% of the people are going to be understand and appreciate it, and be kind, and appreciate the fact that you were real. And for that one or two that doesn't, then that's okay. That's their problem, not ours. But I think just being you. I agree
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. One of the things that really I work with my clients on are healthy boundaries. And because they're out, when they come to me, they're out of alignment. They're overwhelmed, they're overgiving, they're people pleasers, they don't know how to say no and not feel guilty. And so I really work with them in doing that. What are some of your healthy boundaries that you established for yourself, um, in your life, both like professionally? Because I think there's professional boundaries and personal boundaries, that are different. But what are the main ones for you?
That's a really good point, because when I was a school principal, we had Stephen Covey come in. This has been years ago. And anyone who's ever studied Stephen Covey, saying no is really saying yes. You're saying yes to yourself. And so I think, again, women, I think we are caregivers. I think at heart we want to help everyone. And so sometimes we will give too much in both personal and professional. And so what I always do, whether it's either one, I ask myself, think 5 days and 5 months. Don't ask me why I think five, but I always do. 5 months and 5 days, 5 days and 5 months. Will I still be happy I said yes? And I would know immediately what the answer is going to be. My gut tells me, my heart tells me. And if it's not, I'm excited and I can give what you're asking me to give. And that's the other thing. Sometimes people say yes, and then they're not able to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts everybody. And so that's my formula. I ask myself, 5 days and 5 months, what's it going to look like?
I
And
think,
immediately, I mean, you do
yeah,
immediately.
absolutely. Well, and I think for me, it's like finding this spirit, mind, body, which I'm in peace. So
Right.
being able to ask myself, is this adding peace
Mhm. Or stress. And if it's
or
going to,
stress? Yeah, and the other one is stress. And obviously, sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do, or But again, it's looking at it with the correct lens, in my opinion. Where if I'm doing something and I would rather be doing something else, to be doing it from this place of spirit, mind, body alignment, and putting my whole heart into it,
right,
and not thinking about, I wish I could be doing this. No,
right.
I am now choosing to give my time and energy to this, because this needs it more than this. And that's such a place, more of a place of power than being somewhere and wanting to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's a very different mindset, to have, because now I'm coming from a place of power, and I'm being able to give exactly what it is that they need. And also, the no, when we say no, I like to remind people, we actually give someone else an opportunity to
That's
serve that's supposed to.
right. That's true. Well, and it's interesting because I get a lot of LinkedIn messages, because that's I mean, I'm on all of them, but that's my primary playground, if you will, and DMs and different things. I don't answer right away. Sometimes I'll give myself time to think about it and to really mull over it if it's something I can do. Because, like you, I want it to be something I'm excited about and I can give fully. And sometimes we make too rash of a decision. We're like, okay, yeah, I'll say yes, when really we should have thought through it a little bit more. But I like your point about giving someone else an opportunity. For sure, that's
Hmm.
a great point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but when I reached out to you, at gosh, it was back in August, I think, or September. I can't even remember
Yeah,
anymore.
it was August. It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while to come on as a guest, and I did it because of all the crisis and chaos that we're seeing and the division, and really part of the Divine Quotient podcast is to bring people together from all different ethnicities, from all different backgrounds, from all different, you name it,
Right.
right, left, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I have friends that are from all over the world that have radically different ideologies, and I love and respect them all. And so I wanted to talk to you because one of the posts that I saw that you had made was about it was a political rally for women. I think
Mhm.
it was here in Dallas that you had
Oh,
gone
yes,
to.
it was. There's one in DC and the one here in Dallas. Yes.
Right. And so tell me a little bit about that and what has been your experience with, because of the political climate now, being so heated sometimes, and there's just horrible division and hate, in my opinion, that people are seeing each other through this lens now, even though they've known each other for 20 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and love them. And then all of a sudden they're seeing them as an enemy almost. And so, what has been your experience in putting yourself out there politically like that?
It's interesting because I was a school principal, and so I have a lot of connections that were former students. I mean, I did K-12, and so especially the high school age level. I mean, I've got a lot of people who are connections, and I'm very I'm sensitive to the fact that of different political viewpoints, but at the same time, anyone who knows me online or anything else knows I'm a conservative Christian, and I'm going to stand by that. And some people, because of their job or whatever, they might not be able to do that, but I can because I work for myself. But it's interesting that of all the things I've ever posted, it's this many, I mean, just almost minuscule of negativity, almost minuscule. And the funny thing is, if someone is negative to me about something like that, I don't even have to defend myself. Other people in the feed will defend me. Because I try really hard to never post negative, to never be unkind, but to represent what I think people should be doing, to model, because I think we should be positive. And I always joke, if you don't like something or you get mad, go in the bathroom and have a fit. Don't go online and say things that are unkind. So I think people who know me know that, and so they may not agree with me. But I've got friends and connections. We are so opposite ends of the spectrum
Yeah.
that it is crazy, but I love and adore them. And we have the best conversations. And it's interesting because I always say to people publicly and personally, convince me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Give me something that I didn't know about, because I'm a curious person. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, that I have all the right answers. Convince me I'm not right. And so we've had some great conversations. But I
Hmm.
think that friendships should never be strained or based on political differences. And I think we just have to, the old thing, when you were a kid growing up, your parents always said, if you go to dinner somewhere, oh, don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics at the dinner table. And in some ways that's true. And I think we have to live by our values. And when people see you live by your values, they may not agree with you, but they're going to respect you. And so I go with
Absolutely.
the respect to me is the huge thing. I think if you show that to other people, they're going to return that. And then there are just well, two things. There's some people, not really anyone I know, but there are some people out there that just aren't happy and they're just looking to be argumentative. I can't help that. That's not something that I can be involved with, because it's not about me, it's about them. And then secondly, and I love social media. I love it. I think it's the best thing we have, but because of chats and because of the ability to use AI and technology, sometimes the algorithms give people negative stuff that's not even true. So I always
Mhm.
tell people, do your homework. If I see something, I'm going back 3 and 4 sources to see if that's true. Sometimes it's not. So you have to know your facts. You have to know what's going on. You have to engage in civil, fact-based conversations. So
Right.
yeah.
And you have to have discernment because there is so many. there are so many things that are half truths.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
all
It's
and
meant.
all the marketing that we see is also fear-based. And so we're being
Yes.
inundated with information that, if you're not in alignment, in my opinion, if you don't have faith, if you don't know what true peace feels like, you're not going to be you're you can't think clearly when you're constantly in stress and when you're constantly in fear. You're
And see, that was
constantly.
some of those people I was talking about that I see online doing some crazy
Mhm.
things. I think, oh my God, you poor thing. You must be so miserable to like people saying that they were glad that Charlie Kirk got killed. I don't care if I have the same political beliefs of someone or not. I would never wish someone to die. That's someone's father, family. Yeah. So yeah, 100% agree with you.
Yeah, and I think that's part of, I told you before we started that I lead a Course in Miracles study group. And in A Course in Miracles, it says that everything is calling out for love. We're either giving love or it's asking for love. People, whatever situations, are calling out for love. And, um, we're either operating from this place of love, we're making choices in alignment with love or in alignment with fear. And people like that are obviously in their own insane world of fear because they're so afraid that they're actually now not thinking clearly, and look insane
Yeah.
to a lot of people, and to where normally that wouldn't be um, a reaction, that you would ever think anyone would have, especially in public. Like,
Right.
actually posting it and being proud of something like that is insanity in my case. And I think in that instance, it's a person that is crying out for love.
Right.
And for us to really learn how to leverage forgiveness, I call forgiveness the portal back to sanity, back to
Yes.
alignment, back to faith, back to love. And so I think in those instances, we need to learn how to extend that.
I totally agree. A couple of times, I just thought about this. A couple of times I went, because when you go to post something, to your point about different things, when you're going to post something, you have that little moment to say, how is this going to be received? And a couple of times when I've known something might not be received in the right way, I always start it with, I'm asking for grace, because I want people to know that I might not be right. I mean, I think I am, but I'm not, but I might not be. So I'm
Mhm.
asking for grace. I set the stage for that. And so I think when people see that, they know that you're not being dogmatic and saying it's this way or the highway. And I think that also is helpful too. But asking questions, why someone feels the way they do, or I, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
I think you brought up such a beautiful point about curiosity and actually listening to people, not not listening already because you want to prove your point and prove how you're right, but actually listening from a place of curiosity and
Right,
an open mindedness. Like, I really want to know and I want to understand you better. And not that you will or won't change my mind. It's about me just wanting to understand where you're coming from, because I really believe that all of us are having our own unique experience on this journey of life, and we've all are looking at the present moment through a lens that was created by those experiences that we've had from the past. and
absolutely.
and we can help each other, we can actually help each other continue to evolve and find our way to love, if we just stop for a moment and actually listen, take the time to listen, to understand, instead of trying to prove a point and how we're right or how someone is wrong.
Right.
um,
Well, and I always say that, we may vote differently, or some people may not vote, but I think everyone wants the same thing. They want health and independence and opportunities for themselves, their family, their friends. I think all those things we all want. Can't imagine anybody not wanting that, right? So to your point, I think when you come from that place and you ask questions and you listen, and sometimes people don't want to listen, I think that's the best thing we can gift ourselves and someone else. Plus we learn so much more, right? I mean,
yeah.
we learn so much more than we would have.
Exactly. Well, and I think it's horrible to be in a place where you're afraid to be authentic.
Right.
It just is. And so, if you feel like you can't be authentic, you have to be self-aware enough to wonder why.
Well, and a lot to your point earlier, everyone, we all come from a foundation of our childhood, and that DNA is in you. My husband always says, we never lose that DNA. It's always there somewhere. And we make our decisions. People don't want to think we do, but we do. We base on emotions. I mean, we base on every marketing genius in the world is going to tell you it's always an emotional decision. I think people are getting a little bit wiser with, do we want it or need it? And it's usually
Right.
the need is not so much. But I think when we take time to hear someone, because they might not have been listened to in their earlier years. And so just to say, I really want to hear what you think about it, or why do you have that, that opinion or that thought, that just gives them an opening that they might not have ever had because they weren't ever listened to. But they're not going to tell you
Mhm.
that. They might not even know that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you so much. I can't believe the time has already gone by
So fast.
so fast. Please tell people how they can. Do you have any events coming up that you want to share with people, or how can people get in contact with you?
Well, I'm on Debbie Saviano on every platform there is. So that's probably the easiest thing. But I'd encourage anyone to go to LinkedIn and search for Debbie Saviano. I got stars on both sides of my name, so I'm usually pretty easy to find, but connect with me there if we're not already connected. But I appreciate the opportunity to visit Tilde, because I think it's conversations like this. We didn't have this opportunity, 10 years ago like we do today. So just doing what you're doing and the work you do to help people with their spirit, mind, body alignment, I think is a real gift. And so I applaud you for that. So thank you for having me. But Debbie Saviano, just connect with me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank
Be
you.
sure and follow for more.